guys, it's Carrie from Red Curtain Addict, and I have a special guest today. It's Niloufar, who is an incredible woman. I have just admired her, and I'm kind of excited about this. This is just going to be amazing. In case you aren't familiar with Niloufar, she has quite the resume. Can I brag about you for a minute? Okay, so she's an author, award-winning translator, creator, and producer. Some of her works and commissions have been seen at Carnegie Hall, Cal Performances, the Kennedy Center, and she recently spoke at TEDx Berkeley, which is so amazing, and also published a book called Self-Portrait in Bloom. And if it couldn't get any better, this woman is premiering an opera in San Francisco on May 9th through the 12th. So tell me about this opera. What is it about?
The opera is called Abraham in Flames, and it's a coming-of-age story, and it leads the lead character of it is a young woman's chorus. And the story is really about this our quest for our true selves and our authentic selves and our truths and our insistence on that.
Wow, I've seen a few rehearsals back a few months ago, or actually it's been a year now, and you did a workshop at San Francisco Opera. And it was so interesting to see all these young women coming together, and there's something angelic about all of their voices in this story. So I want to dig into the story. What inspired you to create this opera?
I grew up in Tehran, part of my life, and I was fortunate to have this incredible, wonderful, acclaimed Iranian poet visit our home. His name was Ahmad Shamlu. He passed away in the year 2000, and I was around the same age as these young ladies are, who are leading the lead character of our opera, Abraham in Flames. And those 4 years when he was visiting our home were, I think, the most important formative years of my life.
Wow.
And so I think his influence has echoed through my life, and I think decades later I finally it sort of all gelled, and I wanted to do a book and an opera inspired by his work and his very, very dramatic and brave and courageous life.
So to create an opera is such a huge process. I mean, for any of you thinking, how do I even go about doing this? How long did it take from, I have this idea, all the way to now, leading up to your premiere? What did that look like, and what was the length of time?
It's 7 years of hard labor.
Wow.
Yes. On December 12th of 2012, I made a cold call to Iran, to the poet's widow, and I just made this declaration saying, I want to do a book and an opera inspired by Shamlu's work and life and my knowing him. Because we need to know him better in the West. And at that time, I had never done an opera, neither produced one, nor even written the libretto of one.
You're taking a huge chance, too.
Huge chance. I mean, acts of madness, right?
Yeah.
You just make these declarations, and this has sort of been a pattern with me. I want to do things I've never done and don't know how to do, and then I have to then figure out how to do them.
Right.
That's what I call hard labor.
Wow, talk about a true entrepreneur, just kind of figuring it out as you go.
Yes, and then I had to put the team together, come up with the idea. I'm very fortunate to have these amazing generative artists that work with me. The composer of the opera, Alexandra Verbalov, is amazing. Her music is wonderful, and she's a great collaborator, very intuitive. And also the director and dramaturg, Roy Rallo, who's at San Francisco Opera as a staff director. He's been with me since pretty much the 2 years into the project. I brought him in, and it's sort of unusual to start working with the director of an opera first, and then bring on a composer.
Right.
So we've done everything sort of not according to tradition, in the way that we've wanted to, and I think that's one of the benefits of doing this sort of thing oneself, is that you get to really call the shots and define your terms, and go about things the way you want to go about things. I mean, the opera world is very much driven, rightfully so, by the composer, because it's a musical work of art. It's very unusual for a librettist to lead and drive a project, and not just as a librettist who's being commissioned by an opera company, but as a librettist who has had to, absolutely create the project from nothing, all by myself. So it's a new model, as well as, we're a female-led team. Generally, most of us are females, and then the opera's lead character is a woman, and it's really about, them finding their agency in the world. So we've sort of broken all the rules and created our own project.
This is so great. I think it's so neat too, because when we see these performances, you think, oh wow, it just came together. But it takes so much time, and that's what we want you to just hear and see through Red Curtain Addict, is this diligence, this grit, this hard work that it really takes to make a moment happen for the audiences. So tell me, along the way, what were some of the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
Oh my goodness, every day.
Along with the whole list, I'm sure there's like lots of different things.
Every day is like a dark mile. I'm like, why do I have to be doing this? It's like I'm doing the tasks. I mean, I have a very small team and they're part-time, and I still have to sort of supervise. I'm driving the project, so it's up to me to make it happen. Finding the right people to be on the team is very difficult, and I'm talking about the administrative side, the marketing side and all that. That takes a great amount of effort. So it's like doing the job of a small opera company all on my own, even with my very small and very part-time and sort of shifting crew of people who have contributed to this project. And there have been so many wonderful people still who are both volunteering and contributing from the love and the admiration that they have for what they're witnessing is happening. But it's just been, there have been many days, almost every day where I think, why am I working 18 hours? Why am I doing this? Why do I have to, be in charge of, finding out about, the smallest minutia detail about the catering, as well as all the way up to.
Gosh. I mean, you really are thinking high level, broad view, but all the way down to the little logistics.
The smallest things you can't even imagine, the questions that I have to address every single day. So if any of you do want to make an opera or any kind of similar project, think hard and deep about the level of commitment, because once you start and you spend all that energy and you invest in something, you really can't stop.
No, it's true.
You have to see it through. And there have been so many times where I've wanted to stop and think, what am I doing?
I think they were driven by our passions, right? Because I'm sure, being in Silicon Valley, there's so many entrepreneurs out there that may have the same feeling, and it's not doing it for, maybe one reason or the other. It's truly this burn that you have inside of you that you just can't stop, and you ask yourself, why did I even choose this? But then, it's going to be so special for you to see your creation on stage and just to see the audiences experience this. All your dream is coming together, which is definitely well worth it. Would you say?
I would say the girls' chorus, the young women's chorus of San Francisco, who's our lead character, their authenticity and just the honesty and that innocence that they bring and the commitment that they have to this. This is a heavy opera. This is not a children's opera. They're not doing a fun little thing.
So even though it's a young kind of cast, this is definitely not like a kids type of. Okay, gotcha.
It's not a downer opera, but it is a heavy it's a heavy opera. They go through a very difficult hero's journey. They're withstanding a trial by fire that's not easy.
Wow.
They inspire me. My collaborators inspire me. Every once in a while, they make me feel like an artist again, because of course I have that presenter commissioner hat, and I'm in the trenches, and I'm doing all these things I don't really want to be doing. And then every once in a while, I'll get an email from one, or I connect with one, because I have to connect with them all the time, and they bring me back to the level of art, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm an artist, you're an artist, and we're making art. That's right. Thank you so much for reminding me.
And it's almost these peaks of light that you become addicted to, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, I see it. These small wins that you see along the way just keeps you encouraged and just going after it, which is so amazing. But I love too that in addition to your opera, you created this book. So tell me about the book, Self-Portrait in Bloom.
It's a hybrid memoir as well as a biography, a sort of a shortened, distilled biography, a portrait of Ahmad Shamlou, the inspiring poet of the opera and the book. And so I've done the same thing. I've sort of not stuck to the memoir form. It's a hybrid book. It has images in it. There are not all pages are filled with text. I just have been thinking about this book my whole life. I feel like I've been writing it my whole life.
Wow.
And I never really wanted to write a memoir because, it seems like a self-indulgent thing, but I was able to sort of utilize my own story and the story of Ahmad Shamlou as a vehicle to tell a larger story, which is a meditation on art and this notion of passing art from one generation to the other, which is now where we, Alexandra, Roy, and I, and all of our team, the creative team, are doing, passing that on to the Young Women's Chorus, directed by Dr. McMahon. So, we see that lineage, and that lineage is what keeps us going. With the book, I wanted to incorporate the translations. I've translated the poet's work, and so it's sort of 2 books in 1 book. So there's information about his life, Shamu's life and his legacy, and there's a whole book of translations of his poetry in there.
Incredible.
By myself, and there's a history of sort of literature in Iran, a whole essay on translation and how that matters in terms of making invisible cultures visible in any other culture. There's a whole, my favorite chapter is a chapter on Tehran, which is just my favorite chapter.
Yeah?
Yes.
What makes it your favorite?
It's sort of a composite Tehran that doesn't really exist. That's in my imagination because I haven't been there in 30-something years. And I was a child when I left, and I can stalk it with Google Maps and Google Earth, but it's not really real, you see. And I have all these images of the Orientalist era that was really well documented by several photographers. So it's sort of a combination of factors that came together to make this Tehran that doesn't really exist, but it's my Tehran.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is so great. I mean, not very many people get to do something like this, or maybe they don't think they can. And it is possible. It does take a lot of work, and I think that it's neat to see all of your work into your own story in this book, but also the music that you are creating. So tell us, when can we see? This is May 9th through the 12th. And I want to invite you personally, I'm sure you do as well, to see this work. It's going to be incredible. You said 90% of everyone involved is female?
Yes.
That is amazing. So it's pushing boundaries in all types of ways, with translations, to stories, to everyone involved. And where can we find your book?
The book is online on the
Amazon. Amazon.com.
Locally, Book Passage, Book San Francisco and Corte Madera are also carrying it for now.
So make time to come and see the special works. Again, May 9th through 12th. Both of us look forward to seeing you there, and you can find out more about the opera at redcurtainaddict.com. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And the composer is Alexandra Verbalov. So she's written the amazing music. And it's May 9 to 12 at Z Space, which is in San Francisco. I think it's 450 Florida at 17th Street.
Perfect. All right, you guys. So we hope to see you there. Until next time.